Okay, now we are going to see how to apply the material and the data over the terrain. So we start first with the aerial photo. We go and see around and try to bring it over. The first thing we do here is go to the terrain and click over it, and we explode it, and here we could see the geometry, and then we go over the aerial photo and we explode it as well. We just make it visible through the views here, and then we use the paint bucket tool. For this we just make sure that we while we are using the paint bucket tool, we use the alt key in order to read the aerial photo, and then we could drop it over the terrain. And here we could see that aerial photo is draped over the terrain. We could then go to the layers and take the aerial photo layer off. Then we go to the site features, the road and the water feature, and here we use the drap function from the sandbox. So we select it first, and then we go over to the drap function, and then we select the terrain, and we could then see when we click on the terrain, we could see the progress bar beneath and show us that this is in progress. We see now this is over, and then we could now try to bring some materials over the draped features, and we could see here that we could use the material and the right, if we go to the edit, and we could give it the right scale. With this gravel, finding the right scale is important, so we just try to find the right value that give us the right scale, something like this. And we also, it's a bit tricky here, something like this. We go and try to give other materials to the rest of the foundation which we will create for the pergola, and also we could go and find the water texture and place it here. So we have the water feature there, and then we could go to the colors and maybe place this color to the road there, or there. And we have done this. We could give this part again the same color as the aerial photo, because we will bring the texture afterwards. So we go and go to the layer with the pergola, and we want to place this on the terrain. In order to do this, we activate the layer and we try to look from beneath. We try just to bring it down so we could look under the pergola, so we could see the foundation. And then we could go to the function called stamp, and here we could read this part, and then we could see this red border, and this red border means that this area will be dropped over. Then we click over the terrain, and then we could see that some kind of a platform is created. We could it's flexible with the height, so we could decide the height of it, and something like this. And then what we do, we go and select the pergola and we move it just we try to select the right point and we just bring it down some to the right point. So here is the pergola placed on the site, and we could go further and bring some textures to the surrounding of this pergola. We find, yeah, gravel, or maybe, yeah, something like this. Just edit the scale of the texture, give it the right value, something like this, and then we go and try to find another texture that we give to the uh, uh, yeah, the stones. Here we give the stones this material. Yeah, that should be okay. And the next step would be to find to work with the trees. The trees here, as we said earlier, they were made as a block in AutoCAD, and when we brought it here, it become as a component. So if we click on it, we could see that it is a component. Now what we do after we click inside it, we bring a tree. We find the right tree and we from the components, and we place it inside, and what we see is that all the placeholders, they get the same tree. So this is a very good functions, which means that blocks in AutoCAD becomes components. And here, when we have the trees created in one step, we could select the trees and use a plugin called drop at intersection, and that means that it will drop the trees over the terrain and make it exactly intersect with the surface of the terrain. We select the next and we do the same. So we could select it all, but we could also select it part by part. Then when we have this done, we could think of, for example, creating further information which we could make in AutoCAD and add it here. For example, if we want to add some kind of a cross path to the area of this pergola, we could think of going back to AutoCAD. We could, if it is not ready, we could draw that. We use the polyline in order to draw some kind of a pathway here. We try, yeah, something like that. Here, there, some, and yeah, we make it there, and then we could select it and make a W block out of it. So that means that this object will be made as in a file by itself. So we give it a name, we keep the 00 as a reference point, we make sure that it's meters, and then we say okay. We don't need the AutoCAD map information with it. So there is a file, AutoCAD file only with that object. And when we go in SketchUp and we say import AutoCAD, and this is the file that we made, we make sure that it is the meters, preserve drawing origins, and then we could open the file and we look for it, and then when we find it there, and then we could bring it up, and when we bring it up we find it, so we could align it up with the terrain, and then we could a bit up so I could see it good, so we could explode this, and then what we do is we could select it and then drag it over the terrain, and then select the terrain, and what we see here, we see this object is grabbed, and then we could simply go to the materials and find the right material and give it a texture.